In a world where Africans have lost their roots, it has become of vital importance to document our ways. In an effort to reverse the brainwashing of the past, where we were made to believe our ways are demonic, we are pressed to create dignified and respectful platforms to unpack our spiritual ways.
I'm Fortune Masina, and this is Letitia, my wife.
Okay, Abby, yo. I thought I was going to introduce myself, but it's nice to have someone.
Okay, no, let's do it again.
No, it's fine. I love it. It's cute.
Okay. I'm hip hop.
Okay, I'll start.
Can't be cute. I'm hip hop.
Okay.
I'm hip hop.
So I'm Letitia Masina, and this is my husband, Fortune.
Yeah.
How long have you guys been together?
Okay, that's yours. You know the numbers.
I know the numbers. We've been dating for 25 years. So it is a silver jubilee, I think. I think that's what people say. I don't know these fancy things. But we've been married for 22 years.
Do you remember how you met?
Yeah. It's actually an interesting story. I remember the first time I saw her. We were at, it was still called VetsTech, the Auckland Park campus at that time. And I was always, I think it was called Gamike's, like that cafe or canteen or something like that. Yeah, so I was there and I was sitting with my boys, bunking class as usual, and skazadele, like a huge packet of chips. That's all we could afford, and we were sitting there just talking and chowing down the chips. And then it was my second year, but it was her first year. I remember she walked in and I thought, something said to me, and I can never explain this, and I keep telling her, and you never believe this story. Even though at the time, because I remember I was dating someone at the time, and that girl was at Pretoria Tech at the time, but so I was at Vets Tech, and I was sitting there, and in walks this girl, skinny girl, and we almost got looking like, oh, sorry, wait. And see, that's why my hands move around a lot. So she walks in, and something in me, I have no idea how to explain this, but something said to me, that is your wife. Like I just had that feeling. And I mean, at that time I was 19, and I wasn't even thinking about settling down or anything, but just something said to me, that girl is your wife, and I can never explain it to this day. Luckily, one of the guys who we weren't sitting with, but was in our class, stood up and went to go greet her, because they come from the same neighborhood. I think Mokwase or something. You still remember the guy's name? I think his name was Vusi or something.
I don't remember.
Yeah, but he was in my class. Like, so he had started in 95 with me. So in 96, when Letitia started, all of a sudden this guy happens to know this girl I just looked at. So he goes and he greets her, and I was like, oh my God. So I went to introduce myself, but I was pretending I wanted to say something to Uvusi or something. And then I was like, oh, hey, by the way, I'm Fortune. And then she introduced herself. And that's the first time that I saw her. I don't think she registered, I don't think she can even remember that moment, but I remember it. And from that day onwards, even though I knew that I had a girlfriend, something had said to me, this is your wife. And yeah, so that was the first time that I met her.
What about you, Tish? What's your first impression? Do you remember?
Yeah, the first impression.
You might not remember that day, but...
No, I actually do remember the day. But it was like, no, just a nice guy. Hi. I thought they knew each other. It looked like they knew each other. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm here to buy something. And I left both guys, walked away. It wasn't like deep or anything like that. But the reason I didn't believe the story is because I feel like, but it took so long for him to, tell me that he's got maybe this idea in his head.
Why? What happened from there?
No, like then I think slowly, first I thought he was just too much, Papa. You know, and as I got to know him, I was like, oh, this guy is too much. But then we became friends, and I didn't think, I also had a boyfriend. So I didn't think anything. It was just like such good company. And it was nice spending time with him. I really did spend a lot of time with him.
Yeah.
Sometimes Nikuyu are there because, you know, we're living in Hillbrow and I'm like from Northwest. It's so calm, peaceful, and fast streets were just too much for me. So I'd always ask him, oh, please let's catch the same bus to Wits, because I didn't want to travel alone and stuff. So we actually almost spent like almost every day together in a way after a while.
That was after a while. So, like, if you're let's go chronologically.
I'm summarizing.
Yeah, go chronologically.
Because what happened is then, it just so happens there were like a couple of other people in my class and in my year who knew Tish because they came from the same school, Puting Nest or whatever, or Mokwase or something like that. And then, you know, and she would, you know, hear some stuff about me, repetitive, which was all false, by the way, guys. Don't believe the hype. But anyway, so...
All these false rumors about other people.
Well, I don't know. But,
straight to it.
So, you know, so we bump into each other at campus, and I would be trying to, you know, start small talk or whatever, just to get to know her. And it actually happens to be the first day that I actually met her. I actually met another girl called Homotso Primrose Molanto, and on the same day. And because I was with these guys, I think I was with, was it about Prof and Peter and the guys who became Bafikile at the time. But like, we were just hanging out, and they had a car, Black Golf, and you know, it was the first week of school and all the campuses are open and all these guys are going to check out Amafresha and all of that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? So the day I met Tish is the day I actually met another girl called Homotso Primrose. And it just so happened, and I didn't know this, but it happened that Primrose was actually Tish's best friend. You know? So, but I met them. I met them also. But now Homotso was the cooler friend who was more social and more open to conversation.
She was a nicer person.
yeah, you know, she was more recipient to meeting people. She was, you know, excited to meet. So we actually became a little bit more friendlier with Homotso. And then what happened is, we invited Homotso to come to visit us at the flat. It was me and a friend of mine, Liseko, and we're like, now come through. And she said, I've got a friend. And, you know, I think she lives in the same building as you guys, so maybe I'll come with her. And we were like, yes. You know what I mean? But we didn't know who this friend is. And when they came to visit, it just happened to be Tish. You know what I mean? So, and she lived like, I lived on the 18th floor. She was on the 13th floor. You know, so, and that's basically, that was the one evening where we kind of hung out, and Ramesh was there, and, you know, we just hung out, and I'm not going to go into that stuff. But
you thinking your parents are going to watch this?
No.
I didn't do anything. I'm even surprised I'm sitting here today.
So here's the thing. So I'm staying at this flat in High Point. Remember, this is 95. Oh, no, this is 96 in Hillbrow. It was still quite a vibrant, buzzing, area. And Ramesh had come back, was at my flat there. I was sharing it with a guy called Liseko, right? So, but Ramesh was there, because at the time Ramesh was dating Dumi, Christina, and you remember.
Yes.
So Dumi lived like a couple of blocks down the road, and so Ramesh would always be at my crib. You know what I mean? So he was there, and then he finds out that there's these two girls coming over, and he's sitting there. He's got a spliff out and whatever. And me and Lisa are excited that these two girls are gonna come and visit tonight. So he's like, you guys are so excited. I think you need to kind of chill down, you know, maybe take a spliff, take a puff or whatever, just to calm yourselves down. But now, me and Lisa, we'd never smoked before. And we're like, okay, maybe he's onto something, because now we might just mess this whole thing up. So he lights one, we smoke it, but like, he's teaching us how to smoke it. 30 minutes later, nothing is happening, man. We're like, yo, light another one. I think we need. So he lights another one, we go at it again. We're like, we'll just do another one before they get here, just in case. But now we don't know how to smoke. Ntsiki, I'm telling you, it was the worst idea ever. We hear a knock at the door, and that's when the high kicks in. And now both me and Lisebo are high as hell. And we're trying to make a good impression. That day, we even turned over the mattress. You know when you do that as guys. It was super crazy, and we were so high. I don't remember. I remember opening the door, and I don't know what happened.
And now, on my side, I didn't even want to go to this flat. I was like to my friend, like, why can't we chill at my flat? You know, she's like, no, I promise we won't stay long. So we go. I don't want to go, but we go, you know, because she says she promised. And I'm like, reluctantly, we go. She knocks. He opens the door. And then he closes the door in our face. We haven't even stepped in. So I'm like, oh, it felt like a sitcom or something. I was like, are we at the wrong place? She says, no, that's him. I'm like, okay, obviously that was like the weirdest thing ever, you know? And so I was like, no, let's go. So but, you know, she's a nice person. So she knocks again because she thinks maybe it's a joke or something. Like, why would they, you know? Like, I mean, we had all these smiles. You know, we're about to walk in and they literally just slammed it. It was like, open the door, slam it in our face, and we're like,
Yeah, that was an embarrassing moment. It was terrible because, and we thought Ramesh plotted this because he knew he's going to be the fifth wheel. And he just didn't want that to happen, you know? But like, it was sabotage, really. Like, I think we made, I mean, you know, I don't remember the conversations that happened that night, but I remember waking up the next morning, like early at like 4 a.m, and I'm like, where are the girls? Oh, it was crazy.
Clearly we're not in safe hands. If you're still going to be like, where are the girls?
It was crazy, you know? So made a terrible impression, woke up the next morning, and I remember, I think it was a Friday, because I wasn't supposed to go to campus that day, but I went to go and apologize. So I found her at campus and I apologized for our behavior the previous night. And that's when we actually became friends, you know, like, I think, you know, she was like laughing, like, no, it wasn't a big deal. You guys weren't bad. It's just you both passed out and we left.
Yeah,
you know
we literally hung out with Ramesh that night.
100%, yeah.
Because, I mean, he was alert.
Yeah,
he was there.
You know what I mean? So that's what happened, and we became friends after that. And that was 96, 97, 98, 90. And then 99 was when we started to date around like March. We were just like, we had started working. And
how old are you guys now? Early 20s? At
that time, in 96, I was 20. And then so when we started dating, I was 23. So Tish was turning 22 that year.
So you were just friends all
we were just friends. We'd hang out, and she'd come to my flat and be like, "Oh no, I need to go to the shops." There was a spa that, you know, down the road, and so when the mom would send it down, she would come and get me to walk with her because, you know, it's Hillbrow, it's in whatever. And Khomotso moved to Parktown, remember? And she also lived with some other girls that I knew, and whenever you'd want to go and visit her, you would come and get me so we can walk to Parktown together. Whenever she wanted to go to campus, she'd, you know, and whenever she wanted to come back to the flat, she'd wait for me. And that's basically how we actually became close. And we were friends, and she knew my girlfriends. I knew her boyfriend at the time. I didn't know him personally, but you know, she'd talk about him, and I once bumped into them in the lift together. And I think I was with my girlfriend at the time. It's not the girl from Pretoria Tech. It was another girl.
Yes.
But
you were moving fast.
Yeah, no, I was. yeah. But yeah, so, and then we bumped each other and we walked. I think, no, we were in the lift when you guys walked in because we were above. Well, we were above and we went to Natina and came in and there was this guy. Was a cute guy, you know, it was I. But
He was good looking. I think he was I. Like, oh no, she dates all guys.
You know, and
he was a nice guy, sure.
No, he was a cool guy. And yeah, it was, you know, so she knew all my life. She knew my stories, you know. Sometimes we would, you know, go down my hit list together, we'd count. And he'll be like, oh, this week was like this, I was with so-and-so and whatnot. And sometimes she'd come and knock trying to hang out and I'd be with a girl and I wouldn't open because I just, you know, and sometimes she'd come by and she was the one girl. Now, Tish, we don't really listen to the same music and things like that, but she never, she's not like intrusive with what she likes and, you know, her favorite genres of music and things like that. So I remember she would come and I'd be listening to Wu-Tang, the Jeezer had just released Liquid Swords. And so that was the album that I was playing all the time. And she didn't mind. And a lot of girls would, you know, just want R&B, put on Toni Braxton. But I liked her because when she was there, she would just hang out and I'd be playing hardcore hip-hop backpack stuff and it wouldn't bother her. You know what I mean? So, and every time to this day, I know it's very unromantic, but when I listen to the Jeezer, I always, it's my blues and oh, the Jeezer, when the MCs came, and I'm like, oh, so lovey-dovey. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy, but that's how unconventional our love story is, and you know, I just love the fact that it's different from anybody's journey. Like, I don't, like with her, it's actually, she's attached to memories that I think are beautiful and quite key in my life, other than moments that were manufactured for a romantic kind of connection, if that makes sense.
It does.
You know? Yeah.
Tish, what about years from your side? Sorry to cut you off.
So I think during this whole period, for me, so I grew up, and I'm going to say I grew up thinking I'm an only child. So in my household, I was the only child for a long time. I mean, I only later found out I had siblings, but I grew up as an only child.
Well, from the dad side, you know how that goes.
So, and I used to have like good relationships with like male friends. Like I had male friends like from primary, and then when I went to boarding school. And so the whole notion of being a friend with a guy, for me, it was like normal, as long as you have like a great personality and stuff. And Fortune was fascinating. I mean, you know him. He's just such an interesting character. And I'd never met anyone like that, and I used to laugh. I mean, even now, I think I've laughed throughout his speech. I don't even know how his audio is going to sound like, but he always makes me laugh, like the way he tells stories, and I love listening to stories. So I actually would miss hanging out with him. Never thought any I'm not even going to say, I never thought any romantic thing. I mean, I could see he's a good-looking guy. Girls used to talk about him. You know, that guy you hang out with, is he seeing someone? And I'd be like, yeah, he's got a girlfriend, you know. But I never had that at that time, like a thing of like, this is going to be my guy. But it kind of was like such a comfortable relationship. Like I could be hanging out till 11 p.m. and it's just the two of us in the flat. He's busy eating noodles and white bread. Weird diet, you know?
I spent all my money on other girls. You know how it goes. You know, you're 20, man. You know?
I feel like I would have to feed him because he spent money elsewhere. But it was like such a chilled relationship. And because he was so different, and his interests as well, from the music, it was like, okay, what is this? I'd never heard this kind of music, and it was just fascinating. I still don't know if I liked it or not, but it was, you know, when someone shows you new things. And there was just even though I met him, and I mean, I could have maybe labeled him as like a druggie or something, because our meeting was a bit off.
That was the first and the last time I did that, and now it would have stuck. Imagine.
But there was just something that was like comfortable and easy, and it's like, I don't know, it's like when you knew someone back in your other lifetime or something. It was just so right, but not romantic, but right, like, And
what's interesting is Ramesh used to say, like, because Tish would come over and hang out, and I knew this. Like, I knew that I had that premonition. Is that the right word? And
Fortune, was it that deep though? You're using deep words.
Well, can I tell you, like, I know what I know, and now that I'm older, I have the language to explain what I was feeling. When I was younger, I didn't know what to say, and I do think that the universe does give us hints, and sometimes, and a lot of us miss them, or we don't understand them, So and then we kind of fight it. So I let it happen, but I knew at the time that I wasn't ready for her, and I still needed to learn and to be a better man, to know about myself first. I was still discovering, and I always knew from when I was in high school, when I really began, my dating career and all that, and I got to understand my sexuality and everything. I never had a dream about becoming an engineer or a rapper or a musician or a TV this. My dream was to be a family man. Like, I just always knew it. And then I had this sign when I was 19, and so I kind of knew. But I was always like, I always fell in love. I loved easily. Like, I would, I'd meet a girl and fall for them. And I remember, and I would always give myself, like, wholeheartedly to that girl. And it didn't matter to me whether it lasted 2 months or it lasted 6 months. It didn't matter. I would be full in, and I would get involved and understand and trying to understand myself. And I found that with the people that I shared those relationships with, they taught me a lot about myself, which was preparing me for my lifelong partner in a good way, which is why even to this day, all of those girls, we are still, we still talk, and Tish knows them, they know Tish, and we converse, they come over, we talk, and there's nothing actually wrong. We never broke up because it was a terrible breakup or we did something. It was just, everybody comes into your life to teach you something, and I think I was lucky enough to have people who loved me enough to be unselfish about, they didn't want to possess me. And I was just always like, they just there to give what they needed to or show me what they need to and just let me go. So I've always kind of known that. I didn't rush the process of, I want to get married now. And when I've seen her now, I need to get married, because I needed to just to know myself. And so I never rushed it. And I know that she had a boyfriend, and now when I look at it, it could have been like, but why? What if they would have gotten married? What if this? But I think it sounds cheesy, but what's meant for you will be yours. You know what I mean? And you don't have to rush it. And I do thank the heavens that she also had to go through her own experiences to actually understand, when she finally gets to me, that actually I can't do. Yeah, I think 9.5 inches is what I want. But anyway, so I never rushed it. And Ramesh used to say to me, that girl likes you. And I didn't see it, but I remember she used to say, that girl likes you. But I don't think he meant it like she liked me. She wanted to be my girlfriend at that time. But I think now that I'm older, the language for it is that the trust, like you had a boyfriend and you felt safe around me. And I never made a move. I never tried to touch her. I never been like, come on, he won't know. I never did that, and I was also okay with just trusting the process. I was okay with it, Huri. One day it's gonna happen. She's gonna have to go through what she's going through, and then at the right time, maybe the situation will present itself. So I think it's not like I was sitting there, Tish, going, I'm waiting for the right. I wasn't playing the long game. Like I just, I'm not religious, and I don't like religion at all. But I do have a lot of faith, and I do trust my gut, and so I go with it. And I wasn't playing a long game at all. And even when we eventually went on our first date, which it wasn't even a date, it was a
catch up.
A catch up, and then we just, one thing led to another, and it became a romantic date, But I never had the intention of, I'm going there for this.
So what is it, Tish, where does the switch happen now? Because now he's saying it turned into romance. So what happens?
Hey, Ntsiki. So the whole time, I don't even know how many years it was, but because we ended up working, because remember we were tertiary, then we become like young adults, we're working now. I move into modeling, and then we don't see each other for a while, and then we have this date he's talking about. But it's more like, okay, let's catch up. Kahopolet was in Sandton, because, I used to love it there. So he takes me to Sandton. And
I would have taken it to East Rand Mall. I'm a Eastern boy, But
I feel like it was the middle ground because, I'm from the south, he's from the east. So, we met there in the center. Isn't that the center?
Why do you think you were from the south?
Don't I stay in the south?
You were in the west.
In the west.
I'm
so bad with those things.
Terrible.
I'm so sorry.
That's when we play 30 seconds, I never want to be on her team because I just know she's got the worst references ever. But yeah. But it was not middle ground. It was as a guy.
You go anyway.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You have to do the guy thing.
So
but yeah.
I was not even thinking, even when I went there, it was like, oh my gosh, this is the guy I used to hang out with a lot, like I missed him. We haven't seen each other in a while. And so, I said, okay, cool, let's do this. We go, it's dinner. I love food very much. So we do dinner. We actually, I think we're doing restaurant hopping or something because we had like the main meal somewhere else. And then I wanted dessert and he was like, let's go somewhere else for dessert. And then as we're walking between the two restaurants, he says to me, because like there's some guys coming, I don't know if it was like 3 guys or something, but some guys are coming. But the corridors in Sandton, they're long. So you see them from far. And he says, these guys, look at them, checking you out. Let's hold hands just so, basketball. Because now we're friends. But I was like, oh, okay. Because I didn't want them to, I wouldn't want to walk with him and then he must feel like he's being like belittled by some guys, So I held his hand. So we walked to the next place. But even then, thinking, I'm just holding his hand. I'm enjoying the conversation. I'm laughing all the time, having a great, just the way we were when we were in tertiary, And then I don't even know, why did I go to your flat, Kana? I don't even remember why I went there.
Wow. No. I think we wanted to...
Because that was far. Now I look back, I'm like,
I
that's
remember
far from
because
Sandton.
we wanted to watch my 21st birthday celebration video. So I used to have a video camera and I would like videotape a whole lot of stuff, and I had a lot of footage. Like she was at my 21st party, and she had never seen herself. Nobody really saw it, and I think the footage is still out there somewhere. So I was like, oh no, you must see it, because it had been like maybe 2 or 3 years we hadn't really hung out, and she didn't see the video, and she was there at my house, and she wasn't even the Miss Party, because I had a different Miss Party, you know what I mean? But she's like in the realm of everything, so she just wanted to see the setup. So that's actually what happened. And I clawed my way out of the friend zone. So I was like, yeah, okay,
But even at that time, though, I just thought, Fortune is a player, because I remember the guy, in the space I knew him, I felt like there was like a lot of girls, even though he was a nice guy, I don't know, it was the weirdest thing about him. He had this thing, you still didn't think, he's an asshole, to women or anything.
No, but I wasn't an asshole, so...
No, you were not, and that's what I'm saying, that when I'm hearing myself say it, and I remember, I'm like, oh, wow, yeah, there was a few girls, because I was his friend. But I still, I don't know, there's no bone of judgment from my side to feel like, maybe he wasn't like a good guy anyway. It just felt like maybe he was afraid of commitment or something. Like I'm just talking about my view, I just thought, as a guy, he meets a lot of beautiful girls that are very nice people, because I met some of them, and it was just not working out for him, for whatever the reason, And I just thought it was because he's also a nice person. So I just thought, let's have a commitment. That's why it's not working out. Maybe when it gets serious, he jumps out. I don't know. So when we got to a point where it's like the crossroads, like as in, do you actually get into a relationship with this guy? Now I know all this. And I just was like, no, man. I was like, no, you know what? We don't actually have to overthink this. We don't have to be in a relationship. I actually felt like, no, we don't have to. And I remember feeling like, no, okay, it's okay. It's like I felt like he would have to lay his cards on the table seriously for me to even consider like a relationship beyond friendship. And I remember I could tell he was the kind of guy that was just gonna slide into being your boyfriend, but you could never say which was the day Akushed thing. And now, not go Northwest, guys used to bashel, like seriously, and not one day. It would be like courting, serious time. So now I wanted to be courted. I didn't know this Joburg thing where a guy takes you out for drinks and then the next thing your girlfriend die. I needed that whole poetry, like that's what guys would know how to do that, and I wanted that from him. I wanted that whole, and like, I was just like, no, this guy, let's just be friends, and I still liked him like that, and I didn't want to mess that up. But I don't know what he had to go through to actually decide, okay, I'm going to have to do that with this woman. But that's what I knew I needed. I was willing to just be like, we can just be friends. Maybe when I get married, how people have the bridesmaids, I'll also have like a guy. And it was just going to be that. I wasn't thinking beyond. Yeah.
I think for me, Ntsiki, I remember I used to date this girl in 95, and what I enjoyed about her, or the part that she made me discover about myself, is that I liked that I didn't like the box of, there's a girlfriend and you do certain girlfriend things with somebody and it's only romantic, and it's you go to a restaurant, you date, you open the door. She made me fall in love with the idea of being a friend and a buddy to your partner, right? So that for me was cool. We would go shooting pool together. I would take her to go hang out with my male friends, and she would blend in. And she was never the type of girl to be like, oh, I gotta do my hair. She wasn't like that. She was just always ready to hang out, you know, like, and I like that. So I think what I learned from that relationship was that I actually wanted somebody to be my friend and not to be my girlfriend first. Do you understand? So that's, and I carried that in for me. So I just didn't know how to say it then, but I was afraid of the term or that quoting, we are now this, we are now that, because I was intimidated that it might just change the dynamic of the relationship, because there's certain expectations. I like the fluidity of, we are friends, but you know, we
do lover things.
We do lover things as well, but there's no pressure. You see me when you have the time, or you miss me, and we can hang out and do stuff. But you can also listen to Wu-Tang with me and not feel like, oh my God, but it doesn't say love me forever. It doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, it was just, you were just my friend. And I like that concept. And it wasn't like I was just trying to slither my way into sex or a relationship without declaring the love. I was just afraid, because I actually, you know, there were certain traumas where you date someone and then you realize that they expect when you are a boyfriend to do certain things. And so I never wanted to vocalize that, because I thought it would trigger a certain type of behavior. All right, because we all come from different backgrounds, and we are all nurtured to view certain aspects of relationships differently. And I have friends and I'm lucky because I do have a lot of female friends who talk to me, who are very vocal, and so they make me understand other women, life, and even my wife a little bit better. I've got a wonderful friend who grew up in a home where the dad worked, you know, hard, and the mom never worked. And so for her, when she looks at how a relationship should be, it's a dynamic of the dad works and then provides for the family. It is not wrong. That's her example, and that's how she's nurtured, you know. And so when I hear these people talk about a man must, no, it's like, we are all different, and we don't all, you know, we have different natures. And so just find those who you vibe with, that you guys complement each other, and it's your tribe, and then you kind of make it work with them, instead of trying to fit in a box that somebody else, with somebody else's preconceptions or is that conceptions? Yeah. So, but you get what I'm saying? Yeah. It came by boat, guys. It came by boat. So,
language.
You know, so that's my thing. So it wasn't like I was trying to be, and I was really just trying to, and I would build from one relationship to the next. I would go, oh my goodness, I'm dating this girl. I like this about them, you know, and maybe this part of them is not for me. This part of them, I find it like it's just too much for me, and I don't think I would be fully happy with this part. And it doesn't mean that they're stagnant, that they stayed like that, because they're also learning, and we all grow at different pace, right? But then I would just take that, and then the next girlfriend would be, if I'm dating you, I'd take all your good parts and go, the next one must have all these Ntsiki qualities that I liked, but maybe they'll bring something, they'll introduce me to something else I'm not really aware of. And so I would always do that. So I wouldn't date somebody with, and it might not sound really well, I'm trying to find the right language, because it wasn't like this one was better. It was just this one, and then somebody will introduce me to a certain new dimension of the universe I wanted to create. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So, and I was carefully doing that, and those, I would look for those values and then build on them until I realized that the friendship part of it, and then maybe Tish was that. And so even my marriage to her has always been a friendship. Like I don't look at my marriage as she's my wife. She's actually my friend first, and friend is a chosen family. And I remember I did a podcast one time. I know I was by myself, but with I think the dojo. And while we were talking there, one of the guys, as I think, said, "It sounds like your relationship with your wife is like a sibling, kind of a love," because it's. And I understood it, and I liked it because I really believe so. Like. It's like we are family. She's a part of she's like my siblings. We never fight. We've never fought in 25 years. We've never had a difficult fight when I'm angry or whatever. We get upset and we argue, and she upsets me because she did this or whatever. But, and vice versa. But we've never gone to bed angry, and we've never called my uncles to come and talk, and she's never called. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I've never had her mom angry at me because I did something to her, because it feels like family. Because family, you get mad at them, but by the next day it's over, it's done. You forgive it and you move along. So I kept on looking for lovers, which I did and I was getting. But then I realized that the essence, you're looking for somebody who's family. And I felt that when I met her, I felt the family part, and it felt like I belong. And I think that's what she's saying when she says that she would hang out with my brother and I wouldn't be there. And she would just hang out and they'd have a good time. She already was family before she knew she was family. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So I think that's what it was. And I think it's just having to pay special attention to what your values and the things that actually make you as a person feel comfortable. Even to this day, for me, I feel like I've got a lot of friends, and there's people that when I know that I like someone, it's people that I know if I'm in their space, I can relax and I can nap, and I can be vulnerable. And I can take off my pants and put them there because I don't, like clothes. But it just, when I feel safe, that's what it is. And I felt safe with her, and just hearing her say that, talking about Ramesh, who's a lot of people, don't really know that he's actually like such a chill person, such a fun person, such a funny person and whatever. But Tish actually probably knew Ramesh before you actually knew me, because you'd spend more time. And they
used to ask me if I don't have other friends. I'm always, why am I always at Fortune's flat? He's like, yeah, And then one day he said, yeah, like literally, like, don't you have other friends?
And I would leave her there and just go and check and then come back and find her there and then still walking together.
I also think maybe also it was easy because Ramesh and I are the same age. So maybe, and we always debated things because I feel like our mindsets are so different, and we like to talk. So I think it kind of worked out. And, now you know two brothers. You really feel like, oh, wow, they were raised well. They're great, But to answer your question that you asked 30 minutes ago and Fortune took over.
Yes.
I think for me, the moment that made me realize, wait, maybe this guy, is serious is when because remember in my mind, we still just kind of friends. Yes, something happened, but we're still friends. So I say to him, I went on a date.
Okay, that's the first time you're saying I went on a date.
Well, I went out to the movie.
Yeah, so this is what...
No, it's because you called it a date so long that now in my mind, I'm like, I guess I have to say, but...
Ntsiki, so I was working at SAA.
Is she allowed to talk?
She's going to talk. I want to tell you how it happened. I told her, listen, now it's 2 days. Now I'm bringing you in. So, Ntsiki. So I'm working at SAA. I'm a flight attendant. And then I was away for about a week. I come back, I pick her up, and I'm like, I want us to go see this movie. Remember, those billboards and movies were still like a big thing.
I loved going to the movies. It was my thing.
To go to movies.
So lunch, dinner dates, movies. Those were my things. Yeah.
So we see this movie. I'm like, I want us to go see. Let me take you to go see this movie. And she says, I've already seen it. I'm like, oh.
Because it just came out. But
So no, I went with so-and-so just 2 days ago. I was like, I think we need to talk about this now. Like, so you went to the movies with a guy, and then she's like, yeah, you can talk. You can take it over now. It's fine, you can go on. So that's how I knew about it, you know?
So I feel like his reaction was like, wait. I mean, this is someone that was okay previously when I had a boyfriend, and now suddenly I can't go to the movies with like a guy. And maybe it was also because the guy wasn't really a friend. So it could have been the beginning of something. Maybe that's how he was seeing it in his head, or like, no, this is a random guy, you know? But how he reacted, and I feel from there, I felt like he started expressing, or maybe I started hearing him different, because I'm not sure. I can only speak for myself. But that's when I started feeling like now he was expressing his feelings much more clearer, like his feelings about me much more clearer. And then I thought, and I guess I also then, as a girl, I mean, it was kind of nice. I was like, oh, okay. And there's something, you know, in those romantic movies, and the girl always falls for the bad guy. Obviously now I was like, but this guy, he's that guy you don't want to date, because I don't understand, Hori, like,
Player.
you know what I mean? I don't want to use the word, but I was like, this guy. And then now when I saw him kind of like, you know, bearing his heart, I was like, okay, no, maybe we can, you know, but I still wanted, I remember on my friend's birthday, I still wanted the words. Words. I think, where were you? Were you in Switzerland?
I was in Zurich, yes, and I called, and I was like, you know, it didn't sit well that you were at the movies, sitting in the back row in the dark with this guy, all alone during the day, and you didn't even watch a night movie when it's full. You go during the day when it's empty. What does that mean? I know that trick. So anyway, and then I said, yeah, that's when I was like, that's, you know, I'd like to be exclusive.
I think exclusive.
Know?
It's not like we were not something to say we were not something. Look, he had never asked me like out, like as in like be my girlfriend. So I can't, because now it sounds like I was cheating or something. For me, I just felt like I needed something that said we are something, and there was nothing that said we are something, which meant we're still out and about. Do you know what I'm saying? But anyway, he then said it, and I was like, 18th March. I was like, okay. I remember I was painting, so my friend, where she stayed with a lot of friends, and we were painting. And I just remember thinking, oh my God, I was so giddy. I was just like, oh. Because then I was like, oh my goodness, am I actually Fortune's girlfriend? Oh my Lord. It was like...
And it actually happens, that day is actually Khomutso's birthday.
Oh yeah, it's the same
like
friend.
whenever now we celebrate Khomutso's birthday, we're celebrating when we started to date, you know, as a couple, officially.
So Tish, how do you handle, because, I mean, we know couple goals are not about photographs and Instagram life. So how do you start navigating? Because, as you say, he was a player, and now how do you manage your own feelings and who he is, and how do we break that down?
Do you know?
Babe, can I just try and fix what Ntsiki said? Did you believe I was a player, or you thought I was? Because I don't like that term, because I don't think I was.
Let me, I think it's because it's lack of a better word. But for me, I didn't think he was a guy that was ready to commit. That's the best way I always felt I could explain how I saw him, and how it felt in my eyes in a short space of time that I knew him. Whether you can say it was like a year and a half or 2 years, how it felt like he had a few love interests, you know. And I just wrote it off to the fact that he maybe was afraid to commit. You know, like as I explained before, I felt like they were really nice people, those that I'd met. And I was like, but then, so what's the problem? You know, and I just, without knowing obviously what he was going through, I just felt like this guy, he has like very intelligent women, very beautiful women, but yet he's not committing to them. So I just thought, what's about commitment? So I never used the word player when I referred to him, but I felt he maybe was afraid of commitment. And that's why I felt, no, but let's just be friends. I don't want to mess up what we've got, because if I get into something with you, I feel like it might not go far, because commitment in my heart, that's how I felt. Okay. You know what I mean? Yeah. So yes, we can correct the fact that maybe it wasn't, in my eyes, it's not like I thought he was a player, because he really was sweet from how I knew he spoke about his love interests. You know, it was from a nice place. So I never thought he's like, what a user or something. Mm-hmm. No. So it wasn't like that. It was just that commitment thing for me. When I read the situations, I was like, Utaba, Hoba. And then which is why when he didn't want to tell me or ask me to be his girlfriend, I was like, wow, born. You know, because it just felt like it played into how I already kind of assessed them out. Oh, okay, so we are just going to be like these friends with benefits, and then so I just felt like I needed him to say. And when he said it, because I am like that, and because I felt I knew him in that way, when he said it, I think that was the moment when I was like, oh my gosh, serious, because I felt like he never really says that. And so if he's going to say it to me, then it means then we could be different, like our relationship. But now, Ntsiki, you see, at the same time, he always dreamt of being in a relationship. Now, I thought I was going to just be the other woman one day who's getting all the nice things. I didn't want to be married. I just didn't have the same notion of relationship the way he had when he was growing up. And maybe it's because my parents got divorced, you know, and so for me, I felt like as a woman, I could just be alone. I didn't really need a man. And, you know, it was just like something you do for fun. Mm-hmm. So that's why I never really also, and I think maybe that's why I could have male friends, is because I didn't really see them. I wasn't like, even if someone is a nice person, I wouldn't think, oh my God, that would be a great boyfriend. It was not always top of mind for me and stuff. And I felt like I could just be alone. I had male company and it was fine. But remember, even at that age, you're not even thinking sex every day. So you can live life because you're not driven by the notion of having sex one day. So it's also like you're just thinking it's company. So even when we then started dating, now we're like, okay, cool. It was still like we're having fun. And I'm glad that it's something we have even today, you know, and that's why when you ask how long we married, I'm like, Fortune, how long have we been? Because it's something I don't, like the other day I was like, oh my gosh, we forgot our anniversary. And it was like 5 days later. We both didn't say anything to each other. But you know, and then he says to me, I think we celebrated something on that day. I was like, yeah, we celebrated, but it wasn't the anniversary. But yes, we did celebrate something, you know. But that's just how we are. Like, it's just, for me, I like the easiness of it. I really do. It's not difficult. And that's why he can sit here and say, look, we haven't had a fight. Yes, we've had like debates and like serious discussions about things. And but one of the things I also liked as I got to know him now in that level, I remember him saying to me that it doesn't matter how hectic it is, we mustn't sleep until we've found some sort of resolve, you know. And second thing, we must not leave the space we're in while we are in disagreement with each other. Those were like, I mean, when he said it, he didn't say it when we were fighting, so it made sense. And now, whenever then we would have that moment, I'd be like, I can't even go, and I would want to leave, you know, because I'd want space. Remember, now I grew up, it's just me and my mom. So space is quite important thing for me, and I would want to be out of like his space. But because I knew that this thing, Imonat, this thing we have, it's very nice. I would be like, as much as I disagree on this specific point, I don't want to mess this thing up. I just want you to understand my point right now. So I understood that I can't leave the flat, the house, wherever we were, or if we were in the car, I can't leave the car. I'd have to resolve this thing. Or we must at least agree to disagree for the moment. But we must have a peaceful sort of resolve, even if we're going to pick it up again later. And he had those things of relationship. Like, I mean, as he said, he was always learning from his previous relationships. And I mean, on my side, I wasn't looking at relationships like that. And another thing that made me not maybe take them as serious is because I felt like in my life, before him, I'd had 2 proposals. So I just felt like guys were moving they think they're going to make you a wife. Somehow, it was just such a weird look to relationships that he had. He was very warm about it. I was like, this thing, it's like a manipulative thing where people just want to own you or whatever. And like, how do you quickly propose to someone? Or, I was not as I wasn't the typical, I would say typical girl that would want to be, proposals didn't mean that to me. But I loved how we were. And it felt like, and maybe that's how I got deep into it, is because it wasn't like what I saw relationships to be, where it felt like you're stifled, you can't say certain things, you can't laugh like a certain way, you must order salad. I wanna order ribs. I want to order ribs. Yes, I do eat off his plate because they're not sabadiju. But I want to be like that. I didn't want to be, and I was thinking, at the time I was modeling, I was very thin, but I think people thought I didn't eat. So I was very expensive. When you take me out on a date, I want all the things. Starter, main course, and dessert on top of that. But remember when you told me you like pasta? And last night, you were like,
no, I don't want pasta. It was actually...
I just remembered something like when we met.
I didn't know much at the time. And I thought I did, but it's not like I had explored, I didn't know. And at the time, it was a thing that I felt, let me say something, we say pasta. Oh, Italian food. But it's not like it was just, I wasn't exposed to much at the time. Everywhere I go, I have a cheeseburger. That's it. Doesn't matter where I am. And I'm fine with it, I don't like to...
And he's still like...
I'm still like that. I don't like to, think about things I don't need to. If you're having the simple thing, a burger, it's going to feed me. I'm all right. I'll eat once a day, and I'm fine. I don't have to bother myself with consuming my mind with...
But he entertained me. When I realized he wasn't into food, but he would entertain my love for, when I chill, I want to chill in this food. And his female friends,
3 meals. I think... 3 meals. She'll have breakfast at 9, and then at 12, 1, there must be another meal. And then I'm like, how? But I grew up in a family that, food was not a ritual, really. It was just, we were just talking all the time, and we hardly have time to eat, really. And the food was there, but everybody just stands up, you get what you want, and you nibble, and that's it. Come from a family of nibblers, not 7 colors and... now it's breakfast. What are we going to eat? I go to their house the first time I'm sitting there. It's her mom, it's her aunt. We're having breakfast. And then immediately, while we are eating breakfast, lunch. And I'm like, guys, come on. Can you finish the scrambled egg first? Maybe. You know what I mean?
That's how we are, yeah.
But Tish, before I forget, I think for me, I believe that, and this is how we handle our relationship, and it's something that I brought, and I realized something from just observation and everyone else, even the previous relationships that I had been in. If you argue or there's something you don't agree on, but then you break from each other. I believe that causes, that rift causes a gap that is very hard to attach afterwards. So, and it's just by learning, and it could be little things, like subtle things, like even if you're dating, it could be a matter of, I don't know, stupid little arguments that you actually have, or why was that girl looking at you like that? What happened? If you don't address it, it actually causes a split, and it becomes a little bit bigger than what it is if you do not address it at that time. Just like a wound, you need to attend to it almost immediately. So I always believe that when you are be like this, you have a disagreement, whatever. If this is what you want, because above everything else, I want to be with Tish. Above everything else, like it doesn't matter what, I want to be with her. So everything is secondary. Do you understand? So I have to give me the other hand because it's better. So even when you are arguing, even when we're arguing, we argue hand in hand, right? So that she doesn't go and cool off on her own, and I also don't go and cool off on her own, because I don't know, and it's me, and there could be psychologists that could tell you otherwise, and everybody needs their space. That's fine. You do your only thing that you know, and you think it works for you from theory. But from my side, I think this works for the union, that we'll argue about it and be like, whatever, like, okay, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done this or whatever, but you shouldn't have done this. Why did you do this? But we are hand in hand because above it. So I heard that, I'm going to butcher it, but there was a guy who wanted to become a successful entrepreneur, right? And this wise old man said to him, okay, cool, meet me at the beach at 5 o'clock in the morning on such and such a day. And the guy shows up, and the old man walks him into the ocean, is that what you're saying, into the water, right? They walk in there, and he takes him and he like in the water like this, and the guy like is scrambling for air now, he's trying to breathe and stuff, and he wants to come back out and stuff, and then he takes him out and he says, what do you want to be? And the guy says, I just want to breathe, and the old man says, I'm butchering it, but the old man says, if when you come out the water, the first thing is not, I want to be a successful entrepreneur, it means you're getting distracted and your eyes shift from the prize, right? I'm butchering it, but you understand. So you have to remember your dream no matter what you are going through. Even when you are under the water, it's 5 a.m. and you cannot breathe. When you come out, when somebody asks you what you want, you need to say, I want to be a successful entrepreneur, and not say, I just want to live. Because that's when you actually lose focus. And so for me, even when we are arguing and we do not agree about the most terrible things, the one thing I want to be married to you, because I've always wanted to be a family man. And that's what it is. Like everything else will be secondary. You get what I'm saying? So, but it's what I want. And also, I don't believe it's everybody else's, it should be everybody else's goal or dream, or I don't think it's an achievement or an accomplishment at all to actually get married. It's not, everybody has their own journey to walk. And I know for a fact, because I'm self-aware to that degree, or in this aspect, the only thing I ever wanted to be was to be a family-orientated man. I know this, right? And so everything I do is aligned with that in mind, right? Somebody else can do what they want to do, and that's fine. You can be the most decorated accountant or a doctor. That's what you want. That's what you put your effort on. That's what you put your energy on. Then it's great for you. You don't have to walk this road. Not everybody has to get married. It's not an achievement at all. Like for me, I don't even think it's something I created. I think it's something that I was given. It's a gift. Like I've seen you interview a lot of people who have different gifts that I actually also admire. I sit there and I go, oh my God, like I wish I was so in tune with my spiritual self and I understood this and that, but it's theirs. And there, I don't have to mimic them. I can learn from them. I have people who are passionate about things. I mean, there's a guy, Zetu, who's an absolute music genius, you understand? And I sit there and I absorb his energy and I hear him talk about music. And this is what he lives. This is what he dreams. This is what he does. And I take it and I just channel it to what I'm passionate about. And that's what actually turns me on. It's somebody else's passion. And I know it's not. I don't need to be another Zetu. I don't need to be another Ntsiki. I don't need to be another Ramesh. I just need to be myself. And I know what myself wants. Myself wants to be a family man. And so I have chosen this path, and this is what I do it. And it's for me. It shouldn't be, don't be forced, and don't think that Fortune has got a better life than you because he's got this and that. It doesn't work like that. You just got to find something that fulfills you, that makes you happy. I believe it was by the universe's design that, for whatever reason, that it matched me with somebody who can actually fit the puzzle, love me for my strengths, and also tolerate my weaknesses, because I got tons of them also. You understand what I'm saying? But they're okay. Like, I'm okay because she knows how to manage them, and that's fine. And people might say I'm lucky. People might say this. I don't know. I just feel like maybe the luck is in understanding oneself. And I think that is what the challenge is for anybody to enjoy life, is to understand you. And then everything else, it's like you have a skeleton key now. You can just open every lock once you actually know who you are. And this works for me. And it's gone into our work life. Our work life has become, and see what the beauty, and I've never really said this or articulated it like this, but the family man the family man that I've always dreamt of becoming. I've created a livelihood even based on that. We work together, our company is wife and hubby, and we work together. We're partners. It's like our life doesn't stop and start at 9 to 5. It's 24/7, 365. We're in the same space, creative and production. So even when we are sitting just talking about nothing, but it's building. Do you understand? Like, because it's ideas, and it would be dope to do this, and then sometimes it doesn't happen, and sometimes it materializes and it feeds our family. You get what I'm saying? So I don't believe there's anything. Nothing is in isolation. There's no Fortune at work and then Fortune at home. It's Fortune. I have to, even in a boardroom, I need to be myself. Even in a relationship, she allows me to be myself. Whatever I post, whatever I say, she doesn't have stress with it. Whatever I write, she doesn't actually, because she knows it. She's my friend. She knows where it's coming from, and she understands that I need to be free, because that is a key ingredient in somebody being happy. And I hope that I do that for her as well. You understand what I'm saying? So, and that's what it is. And I think like our symbol for love, and we it's not a formal thing, but we always talk about the butterfly, because a butterfly is one thing that you can't catch it and control it. You gotta let it fly in its beauty. And I think, that's what I love. She allows me to do that, and I hope I actually create the right environment for her also to not feel stifled or trapped or bored,
You do. And because we're so different, I think I overthink or To what? What's going on?
I need some space now. I need some personal space. Yeah.
So, in a lot of like facets of life and relationships, I always feel like, if I'd never met Fortune, maybe I wasn't going to be like a happy person. And one thing I knew, as much as I didn't really have that much value on, or like the romantic relationships, if I didn't aspire to them, I always wanted to be a happy person, live a very happy and fulfilled life. I mean, my name means gladness. So I knew that. I knew in friendship, at work, with my kids, we almost have and I had the same relationship with my mom, where it was more, instead of a mother and daughter, it was almost like we were friends. Same with my dad. It was more like we could talk nonsense. My dad could talk nonsense to me, and I think the relationship I have with Fortune is also the same. And I mentioned earlier that it's easy, it's light, and we can talk about anything. Like, he can tell me what is it, Lemon? What example can I give that people might feel like, oh my gosh? Like, he can tell me that, oh my gosh, man, I have to show you this girl I saw today at this meeting. She is so hot, or wherever he was. She is so hot. Oh my, she's definitely my kind of girl. And I would not even have a jealousy something, because he is a person. I don't know. I have that whole thing of, I know that he's a living human being that is allowed to be attracted to someone else, physically, and it doesn't drive me crazy. I don't have that type of attachment to him, even though I obviously feel that he is my guy, and I should be getting the best of him. But I don't have to block him. And I know it maybe contradicts the whole thing of, I wanted him to say, I'm his girlfriend and he's my boyfriend. But I didn't want him to change the fact that he had female friends and he enjoyed their company. I didn't want him to change that he's the kind of guy at a classy 5-7-star restaurant, he's going to stand up and show and dramatize something, and where the waiter's like, sir, pardon, please can you sit down? It's not that kind of place, because he's so loud. You can't take him out to fancy things.
It's called, the right English word is expressive. I'm expressive.
Well, yeah, I don't want to. I'd never change anything. I mean, I'd be cringing under the table going, just sit down. You can tell the story without standing up. People are looking at us, But I also like that. I like that about him. I like that he makes me blush. I like that he makes me giggle. I still giggle, in my 40s. I'm still giggling like I'm 23 and I just met him, And when I look back, I'm like, actually, when he was aspiring to be a family man, I was just aspiring to live such a happy life. I knew that. I mean, I wasn't saying, I never thought I was going to have kids. I mean, only child. I never thought I was going to have kids. I never thought I would be in a marriage where, for so long. But I knew I wanted to be a happy person. And him being him makes me happy. He gives me the space to be happy. And I think I treasure that. He treasures what he treasures. I treasure that. And it works, because one thing for sure that he and I have is we know who we are as individuals, and the relationship is just another thing we have. I'm not lost in the relationship. He's not lost. You can hear when he speaks. He's not lost. He knows what he wants. So we didn't meet and suddenly blend in a way where we forgot who we are. We're still the people that we were when we were still aspiring to live certain adult lives, but we were young adults at the time. And I love that we didn't change each other. So because we didn't change each other, is that when we grow to be the adults that we are today, it's still okay, because, I'm on my own path. I just happen to be walking that path. Give me your hand when
okay,
I gave you my hand when you
were... my hand. They slipped out of yours.
But we're just walking next to each other, and it's okay. And I know that at any time I could just put the hand there, and I still know with confidence. I don't have to look to my left. I know he's there, even if he's not holding my hand. And then when I do this, I know he's going to grab it. And then when I do this, he knows, okay, Tish needs her head back, And it's okay. And that's how I feel like we live, you know, and I love and I think that's how I can sum up how we are in a relationship.
I think it's what you're saying also is that a lot of people think that love is this person comes and then this person comes and they become one. And for us, we think it's like this. You have to be complete and you have to be complete. And then, but then you are linked. But you are linked. And I think that's what, for me, I believe that's what a union needs to be. You know, I have not taken over her life where I force her to go to hip hop gigs or force her to do things that, you know, to cook for me or, you know, anything like that. Nobody is intruding or is, putting their own personal expectations on.
Another, yeah.
And it's fine. I mean, I have friends who watch the same movies I watch. She watches like bubblegum blockbuster movies, actions.
Now I want a muscular hero.
And I'm watching these guys, they are all topless, shooting each other, but the steering doesn't die. I'm like, because this doesn't make sense. But she loves it, you know, that's the kind of stuff she likes. But she doesn't force me to be in a space and to prove that you love me by sitting here and watching this with me. And I watch,
real life things.
Real life dramas or romance. That is hectic. There's a guy, our neighbor lives opposite me, and there was a time where people used to bootleg movies and they used to download movies, and I'd be like, do you have this movie? And he'd say, what a cheesy romance film. I know Tisha's asking you to watch this. And I'm like, yeah, it's Tish. And then I get home and I'm the one watching it. You know what I mean? Like, so it's that's what it needs to be. You need to be complete by yourself. She gives me space, and
I actually love your chain
analogy.
Yeah, because you know, even in this, if I decide for the next 5 years I want to be a square, I'm still in it. If I want to be a circle, if I want to be a triangle, it doesn't change it's actually
quite dope. Right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because
you cannot be a square if you come like this and
you are going through your circle life. Yes. Now we don't meet, but like if we like this, we can still do whatever. Yeah. Like, you know, I can still be me and shape myself, and I'm like, oh no, my love, now I wanna try this.
You said.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like now I'm stealing it. I'm like,
you know somebody's there.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to look at them and see them all the time.
No.
You can do your own thing, but you know but that's what faith is, and that's what being faithful is. It's having the faith that someone got you.
Yeah.
Without the proof, without anything. And that's what it is. And I think sometimes maybe the certain words, they say it's a spell, right? That's why we're spelling words. But maybe sometimes certain words don't have. It's like they are self-centered. You are full of faith. Mm. And so you trust that person got you. Like it doesn't matter what, that person got you. And I feel the same way. I know that you got me. So that's what it is. I think we've forged our own way. We believe what we believe. And I remember even back in the day, Tish, you always used to say, like, it's just the two of us. And I know our parents had certain expectations. They want this, they want that. And when we get together, we're like, but it's just, this is my life, me and you, and what makes sense to us, you know? We'll take a lot of good stuff from where they say, like an example, is like, our parents wanted us to do a white wedding, which I hate that word. And we didn't. You've never seen pictures of me in some penguin suit doing that. It's not what we believe. Other people do it, and it's okay, and we show up and we help them celebrate, but it's not what we do, right? It's not, because it's not what we believe. And we just did our own traditions, our own ceremony were in our traditional ways with our closest people, and that was it. And we are okay with it. 22 years later, we're still standing strong, you know? And our parents still have wishes like, maybe one day you could do, and you're like, no, I don't think we could. We'll celebrate 25 years
Thank you.
but
guys.
in our own way. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, maybe it's a destination anniversary where it's a select few people, and our
I thought
parents
you were
are
going to
there.
say, wait, it's an OG.
OG.
I don't know. It just took me to it. I was like, what are you saying? I was finishing your sentence. It wasn't making sense. I was like, oh, that's what? What are you talking about?
Well, that's an idea. We could put that down. Let's put that down.
Thank you. Your love always be faithful, guys. May your love always be faithful. And thank you. That was really. You may kiss the bride.
Wow.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Is that it?
Thank you. That's it.
Who are you when all you were has been diluted by lies and white lines cancelling out all that which has been written of your history? Why do you look at yourself as a mystery? Doesn't the sun shine because you open your eyes? Doesn't the moon stay situated within the same stars your DNA sparkles off? Your spirit knows that surely corner into it off. Buza umoya so you may return to being well off. Because spiritually you are rich, yet your ancestors cry because you are out of reach. But yours is to command all elements while God takes inspiration from the very mirror she looked at to become. Remember who you are and never finish just when they think that with you they are done.